accelerating.
I had a question for you, Chamath, though, on the pricing model here of, hey, the way we price this is how much are we saving the insurer? Is that too much price optimization? Is there a better model here?
I have no idea.
Okay.
I would like to talk about something else. Related to this, Jason, there's this massive patent battle going on for CRISPR.
Yeah.
And I think it's worth, Cal, if you can give just a 2-second primer, because I think we should talk about patents just for a second. And, there's the extreme version, which is what Elon has done. And then there's the other extreme version, which is these two folks fighting over what could be a critical.
Obviously, Elon has gone with putting the patents out, making his patents open source and putting them out there and using them as a deterrent, like nuclear weapons have been. But the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office published a ruling on Monday in favor of MIT and Harvard over Berkeley. The ruling cancels certain patent applications made by the University of California and its partners regarding a CRISPR system known as CRISPR Cas9. The ruling states that they failed to provide persuasive evidence that they got the gene editing technology to work before the broad group did. The central question in dispute is which group got to the CRISPR Cas9 tool.
Basically, the whole thing here, Jason, is like there was a group led by these two incredible scientists who they won the Nobel Prize, Jennifer Doudna and Emmanuelle Charpentier. They're Berkeley and she Emmanuelle, I think she's at a university in Germany, I think. But then there was a different team trying to develop a system for CRISPR-Cas9 from MIT, Harvard at the Broad. And they all filed patents on top of each other. And this whole thing was a thing. And, the big implication of all this is what are companies supposed to do, right? Because if you are a company that wants to build a CRISPR-Cas9 gene editing thing, look, there's a lot of situations where a single point edit or a broad edit can have a meaningful change in your health. So these are businesses that should exist. You didn't know what to do because if you license the IP from the wrong person, you'd get sued.
Right.
And many companies now are like trying to license both sets of patents. And I just think, to me, it frustrated me when I read this article. This is the conversation I had with you guys in the group chat, is I think we need to think of and imagine a new way for patents to work, because it shouldn't be the case that, folks are competing for what is really effectively credit. And then what stops behind them are all the commercial companies and investors and all of them, and just the normal individual day-to-day people who want solutions to solvable problems. But the reason it doesn't get to the starting line is because of patent credit and having to deal with patent trolls. And I just think that that's a terrible situation for us to be in.
Especially if it's something that could change the course of humanity. Almost feels like an arbitrator has to come in here and force a settlement. What do you think, Friedberg, is the right thing to do? Obviously, we have a tradition of people getting to monetize, dare I say, their innovations for some period of time with a patent.
I have multiple businesses I'm involved in where we leverage CRISPR. And I will tell you that the group at Harvard, so the history is the group at Harvard and the group at Berkeley each argue that they discovered CRISPR-Cas9 around the same time, each argue that they have a right to CRISPR technology based on their discoveries that were made around the same time. And so for years, each of them have been starting companies and licensing CRISPR technologies to different companies. And all of those companies now, including several that are public, it turns out that if this ruling, is to be believed, they actually have a license to a technology that they may not actually have a license to. So there was a company that emerged a few years ago and actually made an open sourced version of this system. And so I have at least one company in gene editing, in plant gene editing, where we leverage this open source version of this system. And many more companies, many more businesses are embracing that open source alternative. I don't think that we see this turning out to be any different than what we saw with the proliferation of Linux in computer software, where Microsoft or whomever was trying to make everyone pay a licensing fee to use their operating system. And guess what markets discovered? They discovered that, hey, if someone is able to make something free and open source it, everyone will embrace it. And here we are, where most of the internet is run on open source software. So, I don't know what the right thing to do with respect to patents are, because the truth is a lot of very difficult, very expensive technology, R&D dollars go into developing a technology that is theoretically, someone could look at it and make a copy of it. And so I do think that there are rights to defend with respect to patents. I think that if there is something that is a critical resource that an entire industry really needs to access, an open source solution will emerge. The markets take care of it. And I think we've already seen that with CRISPR. So, it's hard to say. At the end of the day, you want to license patent a molecule and be the only person that can make that molecule and make money from it. Go ahead. But if everyone's going to need that molecule to run their business and to change the world, someone's going to make a cheaper alternative or a free alternative. That's just the way markets work. So